the pyramids of Giza. As we all know, it's a collection of wonderful masterpieces by the Egyptians a long time ago. But how long is it anyway? Well, let's take it this way. The pyramids were as old to the ancient Romans as the ancient Romans are to us. And when the pyramids were being built, there were still mammoths living on this planet. It's very old, isn't it? But don't get too impressed, because we often learn the past from textbooks in discrete chapters, distracting us from the fact that most sections are not as close as what you may think. What's worse is we often learn different concepts like human rights and technology in different textbooks, and that tears our chronicles apart. In the late 1960s, humans had made a huge leap to become a space exploring species. But while we were sending the first probes to the moon, to Venus, and to Mars, it was still illegal for the black person and a white person to marry in 40 states in America. The guillotine, which cuts a person's head down with a very heavy metal, was in our mind a very brutal and cruel way of death penalty. Interestingly, it was last used by France to officially execute a criminal in the year of 1977. Well, Leo was not here, because it was the year that Star Wars came out. Guillotine and Star Wars. So we went from the death of Vincent van Gogh to the first step of Neil Armstrong on Earth, on Moon, in a span of a human's life. But all those stories, from the pyramids to the ancient Romans, to you listening to the speech, all belong to a very thin section in the textbook compared to what human life has mainly been on this planet. Our current society as we are living in is weird. You're weird, I'm weird, Richard is weird, and Howard is weird.
No.
Yeah, no. Weird is an acronym for Western, educated, industrial, rich, and democratic. This is a life form that we're so used to, but humans have lived in other forms of life for the past 6 million years. It wasn't until the last 10,000 years did we invented farming, government, writing, and the use of metal. And in the near 5 decades, we've entered the internet era, where things began booming faster than ever. And that means that not long before now, we have some very strange thoughts in mind. In 1903, the New York Times predicted that it is possible to build an airplane within 1 to 10 million years. Later in that year, the Wright brothers flew in their plane prototype. In the year of 1908, it was said that no flying plane could ever travel from New York to Paris. Who made this foolish prediction? One of the Wright brothers. So we're living in an era that is as thin as a layer of dust on the bedrock. However, we, as modern humans, are actually eroding this bedrock. In the 1920s, a chemist called Thomas Midgley Jr. synthesized the first chlorofluorocarbon, or CFC, for which he won the big prize in chemical society. This chemical was so useful that it is used in many industries like refrigerants, detergent, or anti-freezer. Only later did we realize that the tons of CFCs we're emitting into the atmosphere is eating away 4% of our protective ozone layer per decade, creating a massive hole in our Mother Earth that will probably not completely heal until you and I have long been dead. Well, Major League's life take up 0.05% of human history. And, well, probably yours and mine will too, hopefully. I remember the time that I was young. There was a huge clock hanging in my room, and before I went to sleep every night, I could hear the tick-tock sound going, like tick-tock, tick-tock. And I figured that the river of time will not stop flowing. It eventually will get washed away like the soil and rock. Or will we? We cannot live a life longer than like 100 years, but we can leave some positive influence in the human history, like the famous British graffiti artist Banksy once said, "We all die twice. The first time is when we stop breathing, and the second time when somebody called our name for the last time." Sometimes it is so hard for us as a narrow slice of time to perceive and to believe what we have not witnessed and what we cannot think of. But you have to know, the society, the world, is actually an artifact created by humans, according to history, tradition, or habits. Don't take it for granted and stand outside of your original slice. That's a place where amazing things will happen. TME.